Easter Bunny is on his way, so I headed into the Dollar Tree and looked through all of their Easter things. I grabbed a few items so that I could show you how to make a few fun Easter Bunny themed crafts. The plus section of my Dollar Tree had this really cute bunny-shaped grapevine wreath form. It had chicken wire in through the belly and the head part. In addition to that, I'm also going to use this wooden letter that I got from Walmart. It's about 8 inches tall. I chose the letter M because that's what my last name starts with. And I'm also going to use a few bunches of greenery and flowers. There's a lot of different ways that you could decorate this monogram initial however you'd like, but for me, I wanted to keep it a little plain, so I just gave mine a quick coat of white chalk paint. Once that white paint was dry, then I went back in with the mineral color by Waverly, and I did a dry brushing around the edges to give it that distressed look. I wanted to make a flower crown for my bunny, but you also could decorate the bottom of the bunny's head and give it a nice big bow or a bow tie or something like that. For my flower crown, I grabbed one of these larger wooden craft sticks from Walmart, and I'm just laying it across the top of the head to get an idea of how wide of a space I could have. I cut my stick down, and that's what I'm going to build my flower crown onto. I always like to start out with a base of greenery first, so the 2 bouquets that I have to work with, I clipped all of the pieces off of them and separated them so that it would be a little bit easier for me to work with. So you can see I laid down the greenery first, and then I just got to work laying down some of the other smaller flowers, and then I filled in the gaps with some of the larger flowers. And while you're watching me do this, I do want to apologize if my voice gets a little hoarse. It's been really windy here in PA, and it's kicked something up outside that is just really messing with my allergies, so my voice keeps giving out. And if you didn't already know, I do work full-time outside of YouTube as a hairdresser, so I talk all day long, and I'm really sorry if I start to sound a little nasally or a little scratchy, but I really wanted to get this video out before Easter. Now that my flower crown is all put together, I needed a way to attach it to my wreath form. So I flipped it over on the back, and you can see I added a dollop of hot glue, and I laid a pipe cleaner going perpendicular to that craft stick, and then I just held it in place with a piece of clear tape until the glue had a chance to cool down. I also did that with this wooden M that I had. I took the pipe cleaners though, and I cut them in half. I didn't quite need that long of a length, and for the letter M, I just attached 4 pipe cleaners in each of the corners of the letter, and then of course I took my clear tape and went back through and made sure that that was held down nice and secure. The pipe cleaners on the back of the letter and the flower crown made it really easy to attach it to this wreath form, and since there was already chicken wire inside the wreath form, I was able to just slide the pipe cleaners through some of the holes of the chicken wire and twist them on the back side to hold everything in place. So this is a really great idea too if you like to change things up from year to year. Since the letter and the flower crown aren't permanently attached to the wreath form, you could switch it out for other things for the following year. And even though this is a bunny, I think I'm going to leave this up for the rest of spring into summer because I just think it turned out so cute. I'm really glad the Dollar Tree started carrying these pom-pom makers. You can get a pack of 2 to make 2 smaller pom-poms, or you can get a single one in a pack that makes a larger pom-pom. I'm going to be using the larger one for this wreath, and I know the Dollar Tree does carry yarn from time to time also, but I picked my yarn up from Michael's and Walmart, and you can see here I have pink and white. I also grabbed one of these bunny ear headbands from the Dollar Tree. I just needed the ears from that. And I do have one of these wooden rings from the Dollar Tree. If you can't find one of these at your store, don't worry, you can make the base out of cardboard instead. If you've never used one of these pom-pom makers before, it's pretty simple. You can see here that both of the sides flap out, and it is 2 sections. It's connected in the center by a pin. What you want to do is open up one side of the pom-pom maker, and starting towards the center, just take whatever yarn color you're using and just start wrapping it from the center towards the outside. You can go back and forth and wrap it as many times as you want until you have it nice and full on one side. As you're wrapping back and forth to fill in all the spaces, once you have it nice and full, just make sure that you end towards the outside of the pom-pom maker. So keep the string on on that end and then just close that flap over, and then that leaves your string in a good position to start on the next side. So go right from the side, you don't have to cut it off or anything, and just repeat the same process, working from the outside to the inside and back and forth until you have the second side as full as you like it. I wanted my pom-poms to be pretty thick and fluffy, so I made sure that I added quite a few layers of yarn to the pom-pom maker as I was wrapping back and forth. And I also wanted to share with you that if you don't feel like making all of these pom-poms, they do sell craft kits at the Dollar Tree that contain pom-poms. They looked a little thin to me, but I think you could make it work for this wreath also. And just like on the first side, when you're done wrapping the second side, you want to make sure that your ending piece is on the outside of the pom-pom maker. And again, you can clip it off after you've closed the flap. I think it just makes it a little bit easier. So you can see both sides of our pom-pom maker are nice and full with yarn now. And here's where you need a pretty sharp pair of scissors. There's a slight channel that runs through the center of the pom-pom maker, and you want to be able to slide your scissor blade into that channel so that you can start cutting all of the yarn that you wrapped away from the center of the pom-pom maker. Just make sure you have a little bit of a grip on the maker itself so that the sides don't flip open as you're cutting. But you can see, because there is that channel through the center, it makes it nice and easy to cut through all of the yarn. And then you just want to repeat that on the second side also. Just slide your scissor blade into the center of that channel and then just start snipping away. If you have a lot of yarn on your pom-pom like I do, you can cut it in layers until you get down towards the center of the channel. Now, once you have all of the yarn cut away from the center, you just need to take another piece of the same color yarn and make sure it's long enough that whatever you're going to tie this onto, you have some extra length there, that you have some tails that you'll be able to tie it on. So now you can see here, you just need to slip that yarn right through that center channel. It'll go through both sides of the pom-pom maker. And once you have all of that string lined up through that center channel, you just want to knot it a few times. I usually just gave mine 2 ties. That was enough to hold everything together. Pull it fairly tight so that you can cinch all of those pieces of yarn that are already attached to the pom-pom maker together, and it'll create a nice fluffy pom-pom. Once you have both knots in place on your pom-pom maker, the last thing you need to do is open up both of those arms again, fold them out to the outside, and then, like I mentioned earlier, there is a pin on the inside of the pom-pom maker that's holding the 2 sides together. So you just want to gently pull that apart and your pom-pom will pop right out of the center. You might have a few extra long pieces here and there, and that's okay. Just take your scissors and give it a little bit of a trim so that all of the edges of your pom-pom are nice and even. And then, like I said, because we left that string nice and long, now we have a nice long set of tails that will be able to tie this pom-pom onto our wreath. After I had several pom-poms made, I started tying them onto my wreath form. Now you can choose to do this however you'd like. You can do all one color. I'm using 2 colors here, but you can use as many colors as you'd like. And you can do it in any pattern that you'd like to. I decided to go with 2 of each color around my wreath. So you can see here, I tied on 2 of the white ones to start. Once I had them tied on, then I went through and I had just added a little dot of hot glue to the underside of my pom-pom just to make sure that it wouldn't slide around on my wreath form. And like I mentioned before, if you don't have one of these wooden wreath forms, you could easily just make a ring out of cardboard. I would probably just cut 2 rings of the same size though and glue those 2 rings together just to make it a bit more sturdy. So once I had my 2 white pom-poms on, then I just repeated the same thing with 2 of the pink pom-poms, and I went the whole way around the outside of the wreath form. And when I got to the end, I did have to add a 3rd white pom-pom to the 2 that I started with, but that was okay because I just used that as the top of my wreath. And if you're curious, I did need 19 pom-poms altogether to fill up my wreath. Now for the bunny headband, the bunny ears have a piece of plastic running up through them that's connected to the headband, but it's pretty easy to snap off. So I just started by cutting the fur away first, and then I bent the bunny ear back and forth until it broke that piece of plastic. I'm going to leave that plastic in there though, just to make the ear stand up a bit better. So once I had the bunny ear taken off of the headband, I just used a little bit of hot glue to cinch the bottom together so that that plastic piece wouldn't fall apart. And then you can see here with the second ear, it was actually easier to break the plastic piece first. And then I was able to go back through, cut the ear off, and then use hot glue again to seal the end shut. I thought I would be able to just hot glue the bunny ears right to the top of my wreath, but it felt a little shaky to me, like it wasn't quite sturdy enough. So I did add hot glue right to the top of the wreath, and you can see I put the bunny ear right on top of it, but because it still felt loose to me, I flipped it over on the back, and then I just used a piece of a craft stick, and I use that as a bridge between the backside of the bunny ear and the backside of the wreath, and it made that bunny ear stand up a little bit better, and it added a little more security to the backside of my wreath. If you caught my last video, you probably saw that I used a pack of this felt bunny garland that you can get at the Dollar Tree to make some bunny pockets. I had a few of those bunnies left over, so I thought I'd make a cute Easter sign with those. In addition to those, I am going to use an 11 by 14 stretched canvas. I don't think I got this from the Dollar Tree, I just had it in my stash. And then I also had a few wooden letters. I had enough to spell out the word Easter, so I'm going to use those also. I started by removing all of the staples from the back of the frame. I got this handy staple remover from Home Depot. You've probably seen me struggle to get these staples out in the past. This thing works pretty well. I had to buy this actually because we decided to rip the carpet out of our bedroom and just have the hardwood in there. And so that came in really handy while we were working on the carpet. And since I had it for that, I thought, why not use it to get the staples out of this frame? I do want to use this canvas material for my sign, so I'm using a pair of scissors, and you can see the crease lines where it was wrapped around the wooden part of the frame. So I'm just cutting towards the inside of the innermost crease. That way I know it'll fit inside the frame with no problem. Just make sure that when you're cutting, you cut towards the inside, like I said, so that you don't have any material hanging over the edges. My original plan was to stain these letters and the frame both with the antique wax by Waverly, but once I started applying it to these letters, I really didn't like how it looked. The letters, I don't know, maybe there was too much grain in the wood. It's kind of a cheap wood. I think this pack of letters was from the Dollar Tree. I felt like the wax wasn't taking very well, and there was just so much variation in color that I just didn't care for it. So I put that on hold, and I moved to the frame where I used a baby wipe to apply my antique wax. Then I went back to those letters again, and I decided just to give them a quick coat of black chalk paint instead. I wanted you to see that process just because I know sometimes, we get frustrated as crafters when things aren't quite turning out how we think they should. So sometimes it's better just to put it to the side, work on something else, and then come back to it, and you'll find a solution for the problem that you had. While my frame and my letters were drying, I picked 3 of the bunnies out and I just laid them side by side. I kind of overlapped their little feet, and I used just a bit of hot glue to connect the 3 of them together. This felt is actually pretty thick, so I didn't see the hot glue through the feet of the bunny. And then there are holes at the top of this because this was meant to be a garland, so I just tied a simple jute bow for each one and hot glued that to the top. Next, I moved on, and I have my piece of canvas material laid onto the back side of my frame. Now, there's 2 sides to the canvas material. There's the white side that you would normally paint on, and then there's the linen side that's on the back. I like the look of the linen side, so I made sure that when I was gluing this down, the linen side would show through the front of the frame. And you can see here my 3 little bunnies fit perfectly inside that frame. So I just went through and I just placed a few dots of hot glue. Like I said, you really couldn't see the glue through the felt, but I didn't want to take a chance that you might, so I just put glue where I knew you wouldn't be able to see it. Then I laid my letters that spelled Easter down through the center, and I just centered it up with the 3 bunnies, and I really like how the black pops on this. So like I said, even though it didn't turn out how I originally thought it would, I really like how it turned out in the end. Thanks so much for coming to hang out with me again today. If you need even more Easter inspiration, check out one of the videos I left on the screen. All right, everyone, I hope you have a great week. Happy Easter, and I'll talk to you in the next one.